Let me give you a scenario. You get a new game, you're excited to play it after a long day. You think, oh, this is the one. This is a game I could sink some serious hours into. Then, an hour passes, maybe two, and you're already thinking about quitting it for good. Does that sound familiar to you? I've played a lot of games in my time. Too many, if I'm being honest. But that isn't the bad part. The bad part is the amount of time I have spent with each game. No, it isn't an ungodly amount of hours. It's a lack of hours. I have hundreds of games in my Steam library, not to mention the games I own physically. Yet, I have put more than 10 hours into maybe 3 dozen in the past 2 years. Recently, I bought Project Zomboid. It looked completely up my alley. Zombies, check. Character customization and leveling, check. Survival, check. I booted up the game, did the tutorial, created my character, I looked up the best build, and then I started to play. I went into a few houses and looted them, killed a couple zombies, and I kid you not, less than an hour later, I turned the game off. Not because I had something come up or plans, but because I just didn't feel like playing it anymore. I had a sneaking suspicion this would happen, that I wouldn't be able to get into it. I had the same experience many times before across all different kinds of games and genres. I install the game, get excited, press play, then I stop. Not because the games are bad, not even because they aren't necessarily meant for me. I stopped because I lost my interest in those games, but I was hoping that it would be different this time. It wasn't. When I was playing, I found myself in a constant state of evaluation as I tested the waters. Every few minutes I was asking, did the controls feel good? How in-depth was the character customization? I was evaluating instead of experiencing it, committing myself to it, immersing myself in it. Part of me was already somewhere else, thinking about what other game I could play instead. If only I could do those things and actually enjoy the game I played. It didn't used to be like this. I played Pokemon as a kid every second I had. I got almost every Shine Sprite in Super Mario Sunshine. My friends and I unlocked Game & Watch on Melee. That crap wasn't easy as a kid. I'd explore, wander around, get lost in the world. I would do the wrong things, waste hours of my time trying to figure out a tutorial. Time wasn't wasted deciding if the game was fun enough to keep playing. I just kept playing. But why can't I anymore? When you have a library of hundreds of games and there are constant Steam sales and deals on games to get, there is always a reason to drop the game you're playing because the other one might be better, more entertaining. We have essentially infinite choices on games we can play, and our time is finite. We have lives and responsibilities. Long gone are the days where we could sit down and play a game for hours after school and all day on the weekends as kids. Because of this scarce resource of time and infinite options to fill it with, we can become paralyzed by choice. There are some days where once I wind down for the night and I'm ready to play a game, I simply stare at my collection and end up playing nothing. And when I do feel like I can make a decision to play a game, I find myself wrestling with another decision. Is there another game that I could play right now that would be more fun? So procrastination sets in. Instead of playing the game, I am back to the same question of, do I even want to play a game right now? When I do get a new game, like Project Zomboid, instead of sitting with the game and giving it a fair chance, I decide all too quickly that I don't like it. Especially considering that you can refund games on Steam if you have already played less than 2 hours, that line of thinking is put into overdrive. And there's something else to consider, FOMO. How many times have you stopped playing a game because a new one came out and you thought it would be better? Maybe it was a friend that mentioned it to you and they said it's the best game they've played in years. Or a video game trailer that really caught your attention. So you picked it up and reset the experience, and you go back to square one. New game, new hope, same result. All of these factors contribute to not playing games. We are depriving ourselves of stories, experiences, fun, and joy by not actually sticking with games. I think there are a lot of other things that can also contribute to not staying with a single game. When I first played a Dark Souls game, I instantly got sucked into the challenging combat, cryptic lore, and overlapping exploration. I sunk hours into the first Dark Souls game and visited the others in the series. When Elden Ring came out, I played it non-stop, even calling off work for its release. Then a couple years passed and I got the itch to play another Souls-like game. I found Lords of the Fallen on sale and picked it up right away. I got to the first boss and looked up a tutorial on how to fight it, and once I beat it, I never picked up the game again. I dropped it for a few reasons that I think we can explore to maybe put an end to this plight of unfinished games. One being the trap of optimization. When we play games a lot of times, we want to squeeze out the maximum amount of enjoyment for the least possible effort. A great way to do that is to let someone else do the thinking for you. Build templates, walkthroughs, interactive map checklists. They all strive to help you beat the game to completion without you having to do the hard work yourself. But that's just it. These things that help us complete a game can sometimes stop us from playing entirely. It can be overwhelming to see a checklist that is over 1,000 items long. I mean, have you ever seen a Path to Exile build guide? I swear you would need a PhD to figure it out yourself. What did I do with Lords of the Fallen? While the game was downloading, I looked up different builds to give myself the easiest time possible while playing. I completely took away the experience of trial and error and exploring, figuring out systems for myself. I stopped because I removed anything and everything that would have made the game meaningful. When I played the game and did the tutorial, figured out the combat, I had seen it before. Sure, it was a bit different than Dark Souls, but the same basic systems were still there. That feeling I got from playing the first Dark Souls game, the sense of fascination, wasn't there. This familiarity fatigue also contributes to my problem. One example that comes to mind is Stardew Valley. I love that game and played it a lot on my Switch. How many clones have you seen of that game? Quite a few. So, when we try to find the same type of game over and over to get a similar experience, it can cause us to get the feeling that we've seen this before. That first time magic is gone. The degradation of novelty happens pretty quickly. We get high highs when we play a game for the first time in a genre we discover that we like, and soon we are back to the baseline and don't enjoy it as much as we did. There is a reason for that. It's called the hedonic treadmill or hedonic adaptation. Basically, it says that we return to a stable baseline emotional state shortly after major positive or even negative events. So, when we boot up and anticipate a game, that feeling of happiness can be fleeting. What do we do when that feeling disappears? We try and find it again. We chase the perfect game. I have a bad habit of not even giving a game a chance if it doesn't have some form of character creation or RPG mechanics. So in my pursuit of the exact game I like to play, I leave a lot of potentially fun gaming experiences to the wayside. I don't know how I would feel if I gave grand strategy games a try. I might find that I really love them. Instead, I keep trying to find the picture-perfect experience that I am familiar with. I remember that feeling of beating the Asylum Demon for the first time. It was great, but I expect to reach those top gamer moment experiences quickly with new games I play. I don't think back on how many times I died or got lost over and over again. I remember the most intense point instead of the total experience. And this clouds my judgment. It creates unrealistic expectations that no game can meet, especially without giving it a fair shake. The most annoying part of all this is that I know that I'm doing this while I do it, but I can't stop myself. I've bought less and less games now because of it. While my wallet appreciates it, the gamer in me doesn't. We're also playing alone more, at least I am. Sure, I'll play some games with friends every now and then, like Ark or Halo, but it's hard to get everyone together at the same time to play games. Everyone's schedules are busy, filled with work, responsibilities, and spending time with partners and family, so games are played alone, without a shared experience. There are a lot of problems and reasons for why we don't play games as much as we want to. How do we end this dismal cycle and get out of this gaming rut? Here are a few solutions that have helped me enjoy games again. Limitations are some of the best ways to force yourself into enjoying things. When we were kids, we had a lot less games to play, so we played the ones we did have more. Do yourself a favor, uninstall almost every game in your Steam library. Actually, do it. Pick 2 to keep and force yourself to play them to completion before installing another 2. This will replicate that same childhood scarcity and limit your options and decision fatigue. Ban optimization the first time you play a game. Yes, it's tempting to start with an overpowered build or have the best items right away, but that can ruin the experience. You're losing out on exploration and struggle that actually makes games more enjoyable. Commit to a game past the dip, that I'm bored feeling. Push through the lack of comfort and ease. Your attention span will thank you. Change how you play the game. Try role-playing a character like it's Dungeons and Dragons, picking a backstory and making decisions that only make sense lore-wise for your character. Ignore objectives and explore to see if you can climb that mountain. Try out a wacky build that isn't optimal, see how far you can go by only using a fork as a weapon in Skyrim. Or finally give that hardcore mode an attempt. Stop buying new games, ignore the shiny new thing, and commit to what is actually already in your library. I promise you the game will wait. Try and make it social again. Set up a designated time where everyone is free and commit to hopping on Discord and playing then. It doesn't have to be the same game. You can just hang out and talk about what you're playing, or play a multiplayer game that you can enjoy together. The important thing is to commit to it. Accept that it won't feel the same again. You only experience the game for the first time once, not just individual games, but genres as a whole too. Don't let that stop you from finding ways to enjoy it. It might not be the same, but that doesn't mean it can't still be fun. Speaking of genres, try new ones. It can be easy to go back to the same comfort of a genre you are familiar with. Try a racing game or a management game that you might glance over if you aren't thinking about it. Become a satisficer instead of a maximizer. This can be a tough one and can take a while to change your mindset, but it'll help. Instead of searching extensively and comparing every game to the best one you played and never actually playing anything, decide that a game is good enough. Set a criteria. If this game has this, this, and this, then I will play it. Perfect is the enemy of good, as they say. I think that's what it really all comes down to. It isn't that games aren't fun anymore, it's that we've changed the way we approach them. We rush to an unfair judgment and compare it to everything else we could be doing. We stopped beating games where the magic actually happens. It isn't the perfect moment or the best build and most efficient path. That isn't where we find real enjoyment in games. We find them in effort and challenge. The goal can't be to find a perfect game because it doesn't exist. It has to be finally letting a game just be enough. I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I'm still working on this myself, but I hope that this video can help you start enjoying and finishing games too. If you found this video helpful or can relate to what I've experienced, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you left a like and subscribed. Thanks for watching till the end, it means a lot. This has been Safe State by SavePoint Sage.